Hi, I'm Marni Battista, and welcome to our little mini course, If Not Now, When? This first video is called Unleashing Your Potential, How to Navigate Change with the Dream Process. So let's get started. First question for you. Have you ever found yourself saying, I'll start pursuing this dream life, or I'll do my dream life when I can, when it's convenient, when I hit a certain milestone, when I lose weight, when I have a certain amount of money in the bank, when my parents are settled, when my kids are grown? Um, is that resonating for you? Because what happens is when you think this way, you realize that like when I get there, keeps moving further and further away. And for some of you, you're even at that point where you worked really hard and you're there, but you still don't feel fulfilled, or that your life feels meaningful, or you have this nagging voice that there might be something more for your life, the purpose, the passion. What is it that you're really meant to do? What if I told you that actually now is a perfect time to start making those changes? I'm going to tell you a quick little story. I was having a coffee with a friend, and she asked me, what's your skincare regime? Like, you have amazing skin. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And I said, well, I've been using these certain products for like 10 years. And what she said is like, oh man, I knew about that product 10 years ago. I wish I would have started using it then, but now it's too late. And that reminds me of like hindsight is 2020. And that is what happens when we get to a certain milestone in our life and we look back and we go, shit, time happened. I had an awareness, I had an idea, I had an intuitive or a knowing, and I didn't do it. And we don't want that in our lives. Life is too short. But I understand that there's a lot of fear and hesitation that comes with the inkling that you want something more, that there might be a big life change that is involved in it. Even when you're feeling stuck and burned out or numb, or that sense that like your life is on hold, like it's on autopilot. When you are in that feeling and it feels like joy, meaning, happiness, fun is just constantly out of reach, it feels like there is no end in sight. And that if you change it, you have to blow up everything. And that feels really scary. I understand, right? Like, I know that in my own journey, when I had everything that I thought I wanted, and that I was in a place of going for the next big milestone simply for the sake of having more, that maybe if I reach this certain milestone financially, that my business hit this certain level, that I would then somehow be happy or fulfilled. But the truth is, it took a really, really big wake up call, right? In the form of a traumatic ski accident to wake me up to this fact that I had made my life about doing, and I built everything from that place. But that doing wasn't really making me happy. And that what I wanted was a life of peace, of joy, of ease, of grace, of flow, a life where I felt like my soul was expressed in every single thing that I did. The way that I got there is what I call the dream process. So the dream process is a transformative tool designed for women who are really ready and serious about embracing change and doing it in a way in which you don't blow up your life, right? So today in this video, I'm just going to highlight two pieces of the dream process, knowing that this mini course is going to get you started on the D, which is the discover, and a little bit into the R, which is the releasing. And that if this is something that you want to walk through with me to actually start tiptoeing into your dream life now, you can absolutely book a call with me and we will be able to chat about what that might look like. Okay, so let's start with D. So the dream process really quickly is discover, release, embrace, which is embrace who you really are and start designing your life from that foundation. Act, which is about implementing through experimentation and being in an iterative process whereby your experiments give you feedback. You keep assessing and adjusting, which is literally a blast. And then the M is for maintenance, right? Then you just become a creator in your life. How do you maintain a life design lifestyle where it's getting bigger and not harder, but bigger, and it feels better because you are just living life as you in every single way, where you wake up and every day feels like a vacation. So we're going to talk about D. And that is to really uncover, and we're going to get started here on your true desires and what are really the blocks in your life that are holding you back from that. I always say, and this is what I talk about in my upcoming book that's going to be published in February by Hay House, that is the problem you think you have isn't really the problem. For me, the problem I thought I had was like, I wanted my husband to go back to work. I thought that if he did that, or if my business hit a certain level, then I would finally feel satisfied and happy. And the truth is, the real problem, which I discovered in this phase of dismantling all the shoulds, the way of living that was prescribed by society, by my parents, by mentors and gurus that I'd been following, right? Like all the shoulds of what you're supposed to do to create happiness. I realized that that was just a cover up for the real problem, which was that I was terrified of change. I was paralyzed. I thought that my situation that I had control over gave me stability, and that stability made me feel in control, and that with control, then I would be happy or at peace. But juggling all those pieces to keep it in control was like mind numbing, right? That's how I got burned out and overwhelmed and feeling like I was never enough. And so what we have to do is we have to really get clear on discovering what is the essential problem. And we do that by what I call dismantling the shoulds, right? We have to get really clear on what are the beliefs that are attached to my identity that I believe that if I achieve these things, if I have these things, if I'm skinny, if I'm fit, if I do yoga, if I drive the right car, if I make this money, if my boyfriend or partner or husband looks this way or makes this amount of money, right? Like all these things that I feel like are supposed to make me happy are part of an identity that you have acquired that probably doesn't actually align with your essential self. These are all ego-driven things. Not that those things aren't important, but when we attach ourselves to those things as the things that make us happy, when any of those things are less than what we believe they should be, we become dissatisfied and we become in the constant pursuit of externals to make us happy. And that is a setup for failure. The goalpost always is being moved. And then in the R phase, right, of this dream process, we have to release, right? We have to actually release those fears, those doubts, the obligation, the guilt, the shame, the parts of our identity that no longer are who we really are, the defense mechanisms we have, the triggers, right? We have to really clear the path for a new beginning. It's interesting. I'm in my first year living in Four Seasons, and it is spring when I'm recording this, and I'm watching the little buds form. And I remember fall, and I was thinking in fall about how literally the leaves, the trees have to completely release those leaves. Otherwise, the tree will die during winter because it doesn't have anything to sustain even one leaf hanging on, right? And here we are in spring, right? And so I was thinking, like, if we don't release what is not essential for the winter, right, for that going within phase of our life, then we will not be able to blossom and bloom and create something new. We can't have the summers of our life. We can't have these moments of spring where new buds are beginning and we're experimenting and we're getting to that like fun part of the dream process. So we have to do the deep release work. So when we do these steps, we start to be in action of tiptoeing toward our ideal life now. So we're going to just take a minute and kind of tiptoe into some discovery work. So I want you to think about your core values. And people usually ask me, like, are they aspirational or are they what my life looks like right now? I want you to really think about, like, what do you care about? If you were to leave a set of beliefs to your nieces or your children or the world about what really matters in life, what would those be? What are your values? What do you really care about? And notice if those things are shoulds, like things you should be doing or believing to create a meaningful life, or are they really based on things that actually add meaning to your life? It's about looking at what I'm believing matters most to me and how I'm living my life, right? Because if you would say, and most people will say, like, oh, family and connection is really, really important to me, but then they miss really important family things because they're proving their worth at work, right? Or they're not available to someone that they care about, or they're putting off dating because they are in the pursuit of a career or other things that are feeling more important right now. And so you want to start to reflect and create some awareness. Think about those things that are part of your identity, right? Like the roles that you play. If you're a perfectionist or recovering perfectionist, things having to look a certain way before you do something or to be worthy, the clothes you're wearing, the car you're driving, what you want your partner to look like, be like, show up for you, like your kids, right? If your kids have a certain job or are doing well in school, right? You win the day, you win the deal, you get the sale, you get a promotion, right? All these external things that are validating your worthiness, that are making you enough, that are making your life meaningful. And notice if those things are things that you believe or things that you were taught. Notice, are those things actually are they making you feel fulfilled, peaceful, content? Do you feel like what you have as your identity actually matches with who you are now, today, right? I remember when I was talking to people about dating and people would say, I'm too busy, right, to date. And they would show me their calendar, right? Same thing when I'm talking about helping people set boundaries at work, right? They're like, well, look, I can't look at my calendar, right? Like, look at this. Like I have no agency over it. And what I want you to think about is your calendar, how you're living your life, running around frenetic, not showering, not having time to eat healthy, to work out, not getting enough sleep, mind numbing behaviors. Like your life today is the true reflection of how you are being programmed to live. And probably, even if I asked you at a dinner conversation what you really care about and what's meaningful to you, it might not line up. Your calendar is a reflection of how you're living your life. And if you are in the belief that this is temporary and that when X happens, it will change, you're probably lying to yourself, right? So we have to really start that discovery process by looking at what are all the shoulds, what are the values that are out of alignment, what are the things, how am I spending my time that doesn't match up? And then in release, we want to really look at how can we start to rewrite the personal narrative of our life, our story, what we can and can't do, what we're capable of, what we're not capable of, and believe in a way that if we can rewire our neural programming, if we can heal the places where we thought we had to be perfect, then we are free. We are in true freedom. We have a true blank slate to start designing our life based on who we are right now, like a complete blank slate. I always say that in the life design process, the net result, the outcome is that your life in every area is like a Jackson Pollock. And if you know that author or that painter, they're like these color blurbs, like right on this white, and they're just bold, and it's just beautiful in a really interesting way. But it's hard to do that if you don't have a blank slate. And what most people are doing is they're looking at a static image and they're trying to like Photoshop their life, like making 10% adjustments here or there to try and make their life better. And in life design, you get to actually not just make a small 10% adjustment, Photoshop your life. You get to create a blank slate and then take what is true about your soul and sort of like put it out into your life, right? But in order to do that, you have to create freedom. You have to clear the blank slate. You have to make space for growth and abundance. This isn't just about dreaming. This is about doing. You have to move from paralysis analysis into action and do that release process. And so in the meditation that's part of this mini course, I would like for you to think about doing it every day for 30 days to start creating some of that freedom, start creating some of that space to actually clear the deck so that then you could go about actually getting clear on who are you without all these shoulds, right? Through this process, you learn not only how to dream big, right? And not to live big, meaning like big and people are going to impress like my Instagram life, right? But actually a big expression of who you are in the day-to-day of your life. This process transforms your, I'll do it one day, right? Into today, day one of starting to believe in the new timeline, the new momentum of creating life on your terms. So this video is a strong start, right? But often you may consider that you don't know what you don't know, and you might want a guiding hand. And if that's true, you can always book a call with me and we can have an hour-long conversation, look at where you're stuck, look at where you want to go. And if I feel like I can help you, I'll tell you how. And if not, I'll point you in the right direction. But this mini course is your first step, right, towards a journey that we can embark on together. So this video, right, is followed by another video, which we're going to talk about getting out of procrastination. And then you have a meditation that I want you to do every day for 30 days. Here's the thing, ladies, every season, every new chapter begins with a clearing and a cleaning, right? And in order to do that, it's a small, decisive step, right? And so for you, I want you to make a decision to turn your one day into today, and really take the next step. Watch the next video, do the homework, which I'm going to tell you what it is, and start listening to the meditation. And of course, again, if you want more help, you can email me at vip@datingwithdignity.com, or there's going to be a link below to book a call with me. Okay, homework for video one. I want you to write down 3 dreams, 3 ideas, 3 goals that you've been postponing. And I want you to, as part of your discovery process, identify 3 fears that are associated with those. And as I also mentioned, really look at, are there any shoulds right now that are not in alignment with actually what you want your life to look like? And you can do a little calendar evaluation, and look at, is my calendar, how I'm spending my time, actually a reflection of what brings me joy? And if you, when you hear that, you go, yeah, but I can't change that. There's a should. So this is an iterative process, right? Everything that comes up as part of it is part of actually your journey and your process. Okay. So, if you have any questions, you can always leave a comment or DM me on Facebook at Marni Battista or on Instagram at Marni Battista _. And I really, really encourage you to give this process a try and do this video, watch the next video, do the meditation. I'm excited to help you begin to dream. Turn your one day into day one. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.